Trump attorney Alina Habba is on Fox News revealing details about the way Judge Juan Merchan snuck out little details about Trump or had them kind of be able to ruminate on the gross aspect of Stormy Daniels, then tell the jury, oh, it never should have happened. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are. This is how these trashy people are trying to plaster Trump with just the Stormy Daniels story. It's not going to work. Remember the E-tape or whatever it is in 2016, they thought that would take him out, the extra Hollywood tape where Trump said he'd grab a girl. Not that he said you can grab a girl, whatever, if you're famous enough. They thought that would end him, and it wasn't enough. Let's get into this one with Alina Habba.
Well, Judge Cannon reserved and did not give another date, but she said there is a tremendous amount of pretrial. There's other issues that have to be handled first. And
so she's giving us a quick update on the Eileen Cannon one that I forgot about. Just that how Jack Smith blew that case. It's getting pushed back indefinitely. Part of it because he covered up and doctored evidence. I'll explain in a minute.
Found out that Jack Smith has his hand in the cookie jar. He was intentionally taking evidence, not telling the court that he had basically taken classified document covers, put him on the wrong documents because they were sloppy.
These are about the photos. I don't know if you ever saw the Mar-a-Lago photos. It has stacks of documents all scattered on the floor, and they all have top secret, classified statements on them. That was all doctored and posed. They put those covers on the documents, and come to find out, some of the documents they put those on were not classified documents. That's falsifying evidence. And that's why Aileen Cannon said, look, this is all a big can of worms. We have to push this back, buddy.
And then what they did was put it in a footnote. They didn't think, when you put it in a footnote as a lawyer, that's, hey, I don't really want to highlight this, but it's in a footnote. And the people read it. We caught on. Obviously, our team is strong there, and they're looking at this closely. And Judge Cannon said, hold on. We got a lot of other things to do before you even try and pressure me, like you pressured many other judges, into having these rush trials before the November election.
So that one is done. Mar-a-Lago, done. Fani Willis, likely done. And this Stormy Daniels one, well, there's no jail time associated with it.
Judge Merchan said about the defense complaining about the testimony, he said, I agree. It would have been better if some of these things had been left unsaid.
Now, this is about Judge Merchan allowing this gross testimony to come out about Stormy Daniels, speaking specifics about her and Trump in the sack, which is nobody's business, isn't even part of the case because it's not because Trump still could have paid her hush money even if it wasn't true. It might not be true for all I know. She could be lying about the whole thing. Maybe he pays her hush money because it's easier to pay her $130,000 to keep her quiet than to have her spill all this detail out to Melania.
But they were already said in front of the jury.
Yeah, this is the problem here. And the judge did try and put guardrails with the prosecution and say that these are the guardrails.
The problem is you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. You can't unhear something. But he said, yeah, we got to put the guardrails back on this, guys. I originally said you could tell all these Stormy Daniels stories. Now, let's veer away from that in this trial. And Judge Merchan knew it was too late. He wanted to slander Trump in public first.
Just go back to basics here. This is about books and records keeping. This is about somebody in Trump Tower who registered a legal fee as a legal fee payment. Okay, that's it. A payment to Michael Cohen, who was an attorney, to reimburse him was a legal fee. That's what this case is about. Where was President Trump? In the White House.
So Trump can't be responsible for this if he was in the White House. He had nothing to do with all this stuff. That's why he was saying earlier that he just probably signed a document, saying pay whatever. It's part of his business. He signs hundreds of documents to have his business pay for stuff.
And they're trying to now make this a very salacious, it's a complete extortion situation. And they're using their hand for the Biden administration to, number one, slow him down so that he can't go on the campaign trail. Number two, get headlines that they think will damage him.
So all of this is just a big use of the waste of trial time for the Democrats to try and campaign against Trump. And then Trump, of course, is going to just say, fine, you got me tied up in court. How about I use this to campaign against you? And that is what this election is about. Not Trump versus Biden, but Trump versus the corrupt state.
Clear. And the judge was trying to prevent that. But I can tell you, I just thought the prosecution completely disregarded the guardrails, didn't care. And that's why we moved for a mistrial.
Oh, so I didn't hear that they moved for a mistrial. And so I haven't heard anything on that, but that's the first I heard of it. So I hope they do get a mistrial. They should.
How effective can the limiting instructions be for jurors?
I think they're useless. I think they're completely useless. I'll be honest with you.
I love this too, because I'm very skeptical of our court system. It's antiquated. This is foolish to think that you can say, you can get the judge can give instructions. You're not allowed to allow that testimony by Stormy Daniels to affect your decision is ridiculous. After what they hear, you can't, it's like if I show you a photo of a dead puppy on the side of the road, then say, oh, just pretend like you didn't see it. You can't unsee that.
This is an art. It's not a science. When you're in a courtroom, no matter what the reporters are saying, you have to understand that as an attorney, it's a craft. You have to sit there, you have to listen, you have to read the room, you have to read the judge and the jury.
I only put that clip in there because she said that being a lawyer is an art form. And I'm an artist. So I get to weigh in on this because I think I'm kind of an expert on the arts. I do agree. It is not about studying the law. It's about reading people in that jury and manipulating them, giving them information, influencing them. That's the art form of this stuff. And I hate to say it, but that's why I don't think it's about justice.
If you constantly object and a judge is constantly saying you're overruled, how does that make you look to a jury? Right. There is a dance that you have to do, and you have to look at everything. So that was a little bit of an unfair assumption, if you ask me.
I'm sorry.
That was because Judge Merchan blamed Trump's defense for not objecting enough during that Stormy Daniels thing. And she's saying you don't want to object all the time because it can be seen as being too much of a chatterbox and too disruptive. So that's her defense. That's his defense. In the meanwhile, though, this is good. I just wanted to give you a little more detail about how gross Juan Merchan ran his courtroom. It's disrespectful to his career and to the law. And this thing really ought to be thrown out on a mistrial. I'm dug in Exile.